Ostiarius Inferni is the second full-length album from Hästspark, which roughly translates to horse kick. This is a stoner doom metal band from Avesta, Sweden, who are very young. And their first record was basically a demo. It was not very well produced. It was not very well performed, but it had some good sort of heavy rock, blues rock influenced, aggressive stoner and doom metal affect to it. It was a very modern record, and it had a lot to say, but it had some kind of bad covers on it, a couple of notable moments here and there. So what this second record is not only a refinement, but kind of an entire retooling of their abilities and their expression. It is their first record in an actual studio, as far as I understand, and it comes beyond the experience of re-recording their first album, kind of having a do-over with that, and now bringing an actual follow-up, which is quite good. Now, this record has a lot of things that are not kind of, I don't think, really give it a good face forward or foot forward here. Is that it released digitally a couple of weeks ago, but it's not releasing physically until August. So that will divide the attention on it quite a bit. But it is an impressive and tuneful enough record to where I think a lot of people, it's worth knowing about it now while the iron is kind of still striking hot. And I think it takes a certain fan to understand what this is. And, well, there's a history of both aggressive, sort of early death metal and black metal artists who kind of went for maybe death and roll, kind of went for black and roll in the 90s. But then once stoner music hit, they switched over and started creating basically what it was, heavy rock with a more aggressive touch to it. That's kind of what this is, but let's listen to a song and then I'll explain exactly what that means. So it's clear that this music has some influence from like witchcraft and perhaps Dozer, and they kind of allude to that themselves enough. But the first record, it had sort of like an early 90s Paradise Lost sound to it. And when I say early 90s, I mean like Icon and Shades of God, where there was a bit of a both groove metal and sort of rock influence to what they were doing. And that's not to say that they sounded like that now, but there is some of the maybe the more aggressive touch of a band like Black Shine or even Entombed in what they're doing now, because the vocals are much more aggressive and harsh. Now that's very normal for sludge rock and stoner doom and all that nowadays, but with the Swedish accent and the vocal style and a lot of the expression of it, it's hard not to hear the spirit of To Ride, Shoot Straight, and Speak the Truth in this record. And it speaks very loudly. These are very well written, very simple and easily to read songs, which are not only catchy but expressive in a believable way for how young they are. Um, it is. There's a lot of misery felt in this record, and some of it is fantastical, and some of it is just personal, and a lot of it involves pulling from the blues rock side of things, as well as just heavier doom influenced parts. So there are some deeper vocals on this one, as there were on the last one. But this is growled from a much more real space, which certainly pays attention to the craft of, which is kind of lost quite a bit on sludge and stoner rock, is the crafting a narrative through your vocal patternation. And this has a lot of flair to it. You can tell maybe they've just been listening to Black Sabbath. It really could be that simple, but there is a Sabbath groove to this record, which I found instantly satisfying and really great on repeat. It's stark contrast to their last record, which was just amateur basically compared to this. So the guy is kind of on a rant. He's on a yarn, and you'll feel how that applies to what LG Petrov was doing in Entombed throughout the late '90s. And I was a big fan of records like Same Difference and Uprising, and I think if you liked those and the way that his vocals kind of belted out, you'll appreciate what this is in a similar way. Um, I'm also a fan of Swedish stoner rock, and you'll if you recognize the names I'm dropping here, like Terra Firma and Dozer, you'll understand why some of that spirit is here. And so that's something I particularly like. I think that this is a particularly good album. It's very well recorded, and just nothing but great songs on this thing. If you like one, you're going to like the whole thing. I thought it was just a great thing to step into and enjoy. It's like that perfect, like summer is about to hit kind of record. And yeah, I'm looking forward to when it actually comes out on vinyl later this year. So that is a high recommendation for me. Not sure where to put it in terms of what month and what not, but wanted to talk about it while it was available, and you can listen to the whole thing on Bandcamp now. Otherwise, plenty more detail and whatnot in the written review if you want to check that out as well.